Is FC26 stressing you out? Are you struggling to sleep? Can you not decide whose sliders are best? Well, don't worry. CMK's done the dirty work. The research into the perfect blend between real, challenging and fun sliders. Sifted through some of the big hitters in the game. So I can take you looking from this to something a little bit more like this. But not like this. If you look like this, you need a life. It's a computer game, lad. Calm down. It's too far.
Too far, Tony!
Now, did you know that you can support the CMK channel even more with the new year of eafc? Let's pay a little bit more to this channel. Don't worry, nothing's going to be changing. Just more chances to get involved with the king. At $1.99 for those who want to jump into live chats and react to episodes in real time. $2.99 for the princes. Chance to see yourself in rebuilds and RTGs, just like Gary and Luca before ya. And then $3.99 for the big spenders, the top whack. In addition to everything else, talk with me directly via DM for custom sliders. Anyone who gets involved will be shouted out at the end of every single video. Get early access to slider sets and career mode videos, and even have the chance to talk to me about making it personal to you. Anyway, let's go to these sliders. Right then, we are back. Another set of CMK sliders, of course. As we always do in these videos, I'll run through really quickly the values, and then I'll go back into what we've kind of changed, why we've changed them, and the reasons behind some of the randomness. Now, I've got to do a massive shout out, because these sliders are based around Ricky and Rory, R&R. Unbelievable. Lads, you're doing God's work. You're doing unbelievable career modes. You're just fantastic creators. Much love. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing, because the community needs you. So, we'll go into the match settings. I'm going 5-minute half lengths. Difficulty is legendary. Ultimate still seems to be broken. Ultimate seems easier than legendary, and I think it's just because the AI plays in a certain way. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It seems that way for me. If you think that Ultimate is harder, that's fine. These sliders will still work, but for me, Legendary is more challenging with competitor mode on and player-based difficulty on as well. So, game type settings then. We're going custom, of course. We're going with authenticity features on. I know there's been a little bit of discourse in the last couple of weeks, but for me, with these sets of sliders, authenticity features on feels really good, really challenging, quite hard. I'm in the championship at the minute with Dorking, and I'm really struggling. It's a tough old game. Dynamic winged effects, but I'm having weather effects off. Now, this is where we get into the sliders. So, sprint speed for the user is 41. Sprint speed for the CPU is at 49. Acceleration 44 for both. Shot error for the user is at 50, and shot error for the CPU is down at 22. Shot speed, both 51. Header shot error at 45 for the user, and CPU is down at 35. Pass error for the user is at 50. Pass error for the CPU at 28. Pass speed for the user at 50, and pass speed for the CPU at 51. Header pass error for the user is 77, whilst header pass error for the CPU is 60. Injuries, we're up at 85 for the frequency and 42 for the severity. Goalkeeper ability for the user is 48, and the goalkeeper ability for the CPU is 57. Team positioning, we go into marking, it's 50 for the user and 62 for the CPU. Run frequency is at 48 for the user and 79 for the CPU. Line height is 45 for both, and line length is 45 for both as well. Line width is 48 for both, and fullback positioning is 61 for both. Power bar, for me, 48 feels really good. First touch control error for the user is 51. First touch control error for the CPU is at 40. Intercepts error is 99 for user and CPU. Ball deflection error is at 99 for both the computer and user. And then tackle assistance for the user is at 45, and tackle assistance for the CPU is at 57. CPU sliders then on custom. Tackle aggression is at 60. This could be a little bit higher, to be fair, but at the minute I feel that this is a nice sweet spot. Build up speed at 87. Shot frequency at 93. First touch pass frequency at 72. Crossing frequency at 90. Dribble frequency at 60. and skill move frequency at 73. Gameplay settings then, shot assistance is precision. We're going with through pass assistance on manual, lob through pass on manual, but we're going ground pass and cross assistance on semi. And when you try this, you'll understand why I've dropped these back from manual, because it's hard enough already. Lob pass assistance always on manual, and then as we always do, I'll just go down these very, very slowly, but I don't really go into these because I leave them the same as they always are. So camera settings, we go with legacy for single player camera, and we go 15 and 7 for height and zoom, and that's about it then. So we'll go back into some of these values, as we always do, kind of discussion around why I've changed things and the reason in the discrepancy. Now, I had a comment the other day saying it always used to be that the values were the same for the CPU and for the user, which is true, because in previous years and previous iterations of FIFA, the AI has actually been quite good and quite intelligent. This year, the AI is dumb. The CPU is stupid, which is why we have to give them a little bit of a boost, a little bit of a leg up. But by giving them a leg up, I have found that the game is harder, it feels hard, it feels more difficult, and that's what I want. I want these to feel, one, realistic, but two, challenging, and then also to really have fun. One thing I have found in playing with these sliders for the last couple of days is that I'm starting to score bangers again, but also I'm conceding way more chances and conceding way more goals, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I know my skill level is good enough to score those bangers, and I also know that my skill level is good enough to defend well, but also to concede chances and to concede goals at certain levels. If I'm playing against Leyton Orient and I'm a championship team, I know I'm probably going to keep a clean sheet, or I'm probably only going to concede a couple of chances or one goal. If I'm playing Burnley, who have just come down from the Premier League, I know that they're going to dominate possession. I know that they're going to have loads of shots on target. Same with Southampton. I had a fantastic game with Southampton. Scored a banger, but then conceded 2 goals. So again, it's one of those things where I know at what level the CPU should be playing against me, and this is where this discrepancy comes into it. The sprint speed being so low for us and so high for them, they're actually going to knock the ball round you. They're going to beat you for pace, and I was finding that they were trying to do that, but they weren't being able to do that because they were too slow. And now that they understand that they're going to beat us for pace, they're actually going for it, which is really, really nice. So yeah, it's a big discrepancy, and I know some people are going to say that, oh, this feels too fast. That's fine. Take it down. If you take our sprint speed down by 3, then just take them down by 3 as well. But I know at the minute this feels really, really nice for me. Acceleration quite low as well. Again, it does slow the game down. I want it to be realistic. I want it to feel like an actual football game. I want it to look like an actual football game, and this is relatively low. Shot rate for the user being at 50. CPU is quite low. Again, I was finding that they were missing open targets. They were going around my goalkeeper and then hitting the post and things like that in previous episodes of Dorking, and that's not what I want. I'm now finding that if they get through on goal and I think they should score, they're probably going to score with this, which is really, really nice. Shot speed I've up by 1. This I feel like means that it's the reason that I'm scoring a few more bangers, I've got to be honest. By only upping it by 1 means that you are getting that zip on shots where you'd expect there to be zip, but it's not flying past the goalkeeper. They're still getting hands to it, they're still saving things as well, again, which is really, really nice. Goalkeeping ability as well. I've left the goalkeeping ability for the CPU quite high. I had it up at 60. I've only dropped it down by a couple of things, and that was just because I was finding that, like in the Villa rebuild, only towards the end when I'd got really good players and I'd slightly tweaked my sliders, was when I was starting to see the really good goals go in. They just seemed a little bit superhuman, and so did ours. At points, Emi Martinez was just keeping everything out, which is why that we've brought the goalkeeping ability down a little bit, and we've also reduced the error for the shot error as well for the CPU. Our marking is quite low, and we've left the CPU marking relatively low as well. I've seen some sliders where they're up in the 70s. Now, I've found that if the marking is too tight, they start to leave too many gaps, which is not what I wanted. So we've kind of left that relatively low with ours as well. But also we've tweaked their run frequency. Now, the run frequency doesn't really matter too much, I don't think, when it's ours. We can force them to make runs, but with the CPU they seemed very, very static, which is why it's so high here with a 79 rating. It is quite high. Line height then is relatively low. Again, a lot of the sliders that I've seen have pushed it up to the 50s, the 60s maybe. I've left it at 45 because I was finding that balls over the top, in behind, things like that were far too easy. I found the first couple of games when I was playing my Aston Villa rebuild, you could basically do a bit of a 1-2 round the fullback and you were gone. You were literally, you were in on goal straight away. So with that, I've also lowered down the fullback positioning. I've got some slider sets that I've seen have it up in the 80s, up in the 90s potentially, but mine's at 61, which means that fullback's going to drop down a little bit, drop back a little bit further, and it means that you can't just do that really fast winger, 1-2, boom, round, you're in on goal, which is what I'm trying to prevent against. I'm trying to prevent against these really easy chances and really easy goals. And then we go into the CPU sliders as well. Tackle aggression seems relatively low at 60, but I wanted the midfield to be a little bit more passive. Centre backs for the opposition seem to just run out and take the ball off you, which is not what you want. It's not really realistic, and if you time it right and knock the ball 1-2 round them, you're in on goal straight away, which is not something I wanted. I was also finding as well, I was not being able to put any crosses in because the fullbacks are just on your winger straight away, which isn't really believable and isn't really realistic. But also it was kind of boring as well, because you'd get the ball out on the wing, and like Jack Grealish at Man City, you just pass the ball back into the middle and you just work it around that midfield area, and then you'd ship it over to the other side, and it was just back and forth. It just wasn't really that fun. It was maybe a little bit more realistic, but it's still a game at the end of the day. It's still a game at the end of the day, and you want it to be fun. Build up speed, I've dropped it down by a little bit, and this is just because the teams that you're playing against now are going to be a lot better on the break. So even though we want them to be attacking them and they want that pressure, it's going to be too much. It's just going to be, as soon as they get the ball, it's up the other end of the pitch, and they make silly passes. They make kind of first touch passes, which is why we've dropped this down a little bit as well. But they make those passes and they're a little bit kind of wayward, or a little bit under hit and things like that, and we're able to nick the ball off them a little bit too easy. Shot frequency, I'm still finding that they don't really shoot from outside the area, which is why I'm upping these. I might be upping it even further, to be honest, to like 99. But let's stick around the 94 to 97 area for this one. Cross frequency, again, still a bit of a weird one. I think we're just indoctrinated now that in real life football we don't really see that many crosses. And in the game we haven't seen crosses for years now. So if you want there to be frequent crosses, I would say up it to 99. But for me, 90 feels pretty good. They only cross when they've got a really good opportunity to. Dribble frequency is at 60, and I know it talks about the attacking half. When they're in the attacking half, they're a little bit more aggressive. I found that if this is too high, they barely pass the ball. So actually I want them to be passing the ball around me and to be creating their own opportunities and moving me around the pitch. But also when they've got the opportunity to take me on, or there's a really fast winger against my really slow fullback, they're going to bomb it on, they're going to knock it past them, and they're going to run at them. And skill move frequency, I've dropped this down a little bit. I think I had it at 77. I would say 72, 73 feels really, really nice. But I had it a lot higher. I think I had it at like 75 or 80. and they were just spamming. It would just be like heel to heel after heel to heel. It was just getting too much, too long, and it was taking them too long to try and beat my player. So I've dropped this down a little bit because I still like to see the skill moves. They do me at some points, but I don't want them to do them too much, spam it, and then it means that all of my players just get back and defend. But with that being said, geezers, that is us for the new sets of sliders. I hope these work for you guys. These are feeling really good for me. I'm really enjoying this. And for the first time probably this year, I'm actually buzzing to play FIFA again. It's not just a chore just to record some gameplay. I'm actually excited to turn my PlayStation on and give it a go. So get down in the comment section, tell me if these work for you, if you're enjoying them. If not, talk to me about what you've changed, what you don't like, and things like that. But just be respectful, you know what I'm saying? I don't want it to get into a little bit of a back and forth in the comment section. But as always, geezers, it's much love. I'll see ya very soon, and peace.